This is the JBL Boombox 3, and this is the new JBL Boombox 4, which does have some important upgrades over the Boombox 3. Now, first off, when it comes to speaker setups, the Boombox 3 has dual front firing drivers with dual front firing tweeters, which are stacked on top of the drivers. It has a single front firing subwoofer and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides. In general, this is a rather unique speaker setup for the Boombox 3. Whereas with the Boombox 4, this speaker has gone back to having dual front firing woofers, dual front firing tweeters, and dual passive radiators like the Boombox 2. However, what's new on the Boombox 4 is that it now has a rear firing passive radiator, which is going to give you a lot more kick in your bass. And honestly, the max volume and bass coming out of the PartyBox 120 is up there with, let's say, the JBL PartyBox 120, which is super impressive. However, when it comes to sound quality, the Boombox 4 is a violent sounding speaker. It has a super high max volume because it puts a lot of emphasis on the highs, and it has a lot of kick in its bass. But since it puts so much emphasis on the highs, the mids aren't as detailed, and the speaker doesn't sound as open as, let's say, the JBL Boombox 3. So with the Boombox 4, you're gonna have a lot more kick in your bass, and you're gonna have a much higher max volume than the Boombox 3. But I feel that the Boombox 3 still sounds more open than the Boombox 4. But one big upgrade on the Boombox 4 is that you can now swap out the battery if you need to, and this is the same battery that's found in the PartyBox 520 and 720, so if you want, you can mix and match batteries between these three speakers. And to charge these speakers, they both charge via a double barrel AC port, and the Boombox 4 now has a USB-C port, which you can use to charge your own devices, and you can use it as a wired connection, but unfortunately, you cannot use the Boombox 4 for karaoke. And another upgrade on the Boombox 4 is that it is now using Auracast, so you can pair it up to other Auracast speakers, like let's say a Charge 6 or to a Flip 7, or even to the JBL Grip, or you can pair it up to any of JBL's party boxes. However, you cannot connect your Boombox 4 up to any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost, so you cannot connect your Boombox 4 up to a Boombox 3 or a Boombox 2, because these two speakers are using Party Boost, and the Boombox 4 is not backwards compatible. Overall, the JBL Boombox 4 is still a big upgrade over the Boombox 3. It gets louder and it has more bass, and it now has a swappable battery. However, I do feel that the Boombox 3 still has better instrument separation than the Boombox 4, because the Boombox 4 does put an emphasis on the highs.